Yep.
Investigation.
I was like, I'm gonna blame it on allergies. I'm gonna round everything. I'm gonna blame it on allergies and tariffs
Allergies and
moving forward.
tariffs is
Hmm.
what we're gonna blame everything on at the moment. But
Hmm.
yeah, man, I was sitting there, I was like, research, not the word
Mm.
I want, not the word I want.
Hmm. You're like, that's not
Investigation.
it. Yep. Yeah.
Welcome, y'all. It's gonna be a fun
It's gonna be
episode.
a fun episode. I tell you what.
This is Shayna,
And Chris.
and we are Bad Queers. If you came out of the closet and got put in a box of stereotypes you don't belong to, then welcome to the Bad Queers Club.
All right. This week in Queer Urban Dictionary, I have AGAB. AGAB stands for assigned gender at birth. It's the gender one is assigned at birth based on medical factors, including hormones, chromosomes, genitals. It is the sex that is put on one's birth certificate and typically corresponds to the gender one was raised as or is assumed to be in childhood. My sentence is AGAB is also used by some transgender people to talk about their gender experience without having to use narratives about what gender they used to be. Many trans people never identified with their birth assigned gender. So that completes. There's actually more of these AGAB and different ones. So I'll just continue my little definition series of assigned at birth, which sounds like a Lifetime movie.
It really did. I thought it was like a new segment that they're
Assigned at
doing a
birth.
deep,
Yeah.
like like they're doing the, oh my God, wow, what's the word?
It's okay. It's allergies
Investigation.
getting to you. Yep. I
Investigation.
was like, I'm gonna blame it on allergies. I'm gonna round everything. I'm gonna blame it on allergies and tariffs
Allergies and
moving forward.
tariffs is
Hmm.
what we're gonna blame everything on at the moment. But
Hmm.
yeah, man, I was sitting there, I was like, research, not the word
Mm.
I want, not the word I want.
Mm. You're like, that's not
Investigation.
it. Yep. Yeah.
Welcome, y'all. It's gonna be a fun
It's gonna be a
episode.
fun episode. I tell you what.
All
Oof.
right. My queer urban dictionary word of the week is sapphic. Sapphic is an umbrella term that includes lesbian, bisexual, and pansexual trans femmes, masks, non binary folks, and cis women. Yet, unlike these sexualities, sapphic strives to conjure an experience more akin to an intention toward attraction, one oriented less to any specific gender identity and more to the fullness of a potential lover's humanity.
Hmm.
My sentence is that today, as of recording, which is April 9th, is Sapphic Visibility Day.
Hmm.
Sapphic.
Is that a relatively new one?
I believe so because I think Sapphic has gotten more popular over the last few years. I think it's the best way instead of being like, I just love women, trans, and non binary folks. It's like Sapphic.
Yeah. Okay. Hmm.
So yeah, Sapphic Visibility. I wonder how long it's lasted. We'll Google this while we do some category is. So let's go ahead and praise, pray tell. Our first category is the NFL Saints Khalen Saunders is to launch an LGBTQ plus friendly youth football camp. So honestly, Khalen got the ally part right. In a recent interview, he stated how his allyship wants to lead by action. He recognizes that the NFL is very heterosexual, very male dominant, and he wants to make football for everyone. He has previously worked with GLAD and the NFL to be able to create more open and affirming spaces within the NFL and football umbrella. And he stated that he recognized that there are folks out there who may feel that they have to feel hidden because of the culture of the sport. And that was his main motivation for being able to start this LGBTQ plus football camp. So it's going to be like an LGBTQ camp combine, which is a day of play to get kids out and active. They'll go through some of the tests that they do in the combine, but they'll also just have activity and fun in a safe and inclusive environment. He wanted to be sure that he was an ally who was doing his part to support the LGBTQ plus community. On the flip side of this, of course, there were haters, the main one being Antonio Brown. Nobody gives a fuck about you, my guy. But he decided to go on Twitter's X and just go on a slew of inappropriate posts. He had like a photo of a game room that had an inflatable dildo with headphones on it and said, "This is probably Kalen's game room." He posted and dropped the F word, the F gets it,
The
faggot
baguette.
of faggots of the day is what he said on Twitter's X. to point these things out and just kept going and going and going. I love the person who responded and was like, whatever white folks are running Antonio Brown's page need to go and sit all the way
I think
down.
Khalen said that too. It's like it's
Yeah.
wild you let whatever white person run your page and say, and he's been called out before. Antonio Brown is
A mess.
walking CTE. Like he is
Okay.
just scum of the earth. Terrible guy, horrible father, was a terrible husband. I know all this because he was a Steeler and everything. So something told me years ago, don't buy his jersey. And thank God I didn't. He is such a head case. So of course he would come out and say something like this
Mm-hmm.
because he wants to continue to remain relevant. He's like football's Kanye West, basically. So,
Well, that's a
of
great
course he would
description.
pop out. Yeah.
Great description. So yeah, well,
Yeah.
shout out to Kaylin. Excited to see how the camp goes. I hope we get some highlights from the experience and that the kids have a good time.
It's really cool. It's great to see that too. And just his interview, and again, he was at the GLAAD Awards and everything, and just
Hmm.
like, yeah, he's gonna do this. He don't care what y'all say.
Okay.
So, mm,
And that's on positive
hmm
masculinity carrying over.
there we go. Hey,
Okay.
there
Hey,
we go.
call
That's
back.
exactly it.
We got a
That's
call back.
exactly it. I love that. Uh, Continuing with the positivity. The next category is starter home. T.S. Madison opens a black trans starter home in her former Atlanta home, calling it a transformative investment in the future of Black trans women. A coalition of community organizations have opened the T.S. Madison Starter Home, a new reentry home for formerly incarcerated Black trans women in Atlanta. The innovative project is a collaboration between Black and trans performer and producer and Grammy winning
Mm.
producer T.S. Madison, NASM, NAESM Inc., an Atlanta based nonprofit and one of the oldest Black led HIV/AIDS service organizations in the South, and a new way of life's safe housing network, a national collective providing safe reentry housing to formerly incarcerated people. The starter home does occupy, as mentioned, T.S. Madison's former home and will welcome up to 4 women at a time, according to the Atlanta Voice. Maddie, T.S. Madison, said, I wanted to use this house as a conduit for girls to become great. I was a girl that was disenfranchised and homeless and was in sex work, and so many great things have happened in this house. I want people to understand that it's not where you start, it's where you go. So that is wonderful to hear. And, T.S. Madison always moves great and responsibly and
Mm-hmm.
fun to watch. Did you see that clip of her drunk and falling out of her chair? She was like reaching over for something um, in her fag talk show with Craig, but she was like, oh, let me get some. And they had been drinking and just fell flat out. And I watched that.
Anytime
Like,
they've been
so
drinking,
funny.
it
It's so funny. It's
levels up.
always so funny.
It
It's like, what's going
levels
to
up
happen?
their
It's
interaction.
really like, what's about to happen here?
Truly,
So,
giant question mark, but also an immediate comedy show that we
yeah.
didn't expect to have front row tickets to.
Yeah.
Plus
It
the
was good to
laughter
see.
when that happened.
And yeah.
It's so deep. It's so
I
deep.
saw
It's so
her
wonderful.
also read Caitlyn Jenner, which was great. Like, where you
Mm,
at? Where you at? You were saying all this stuff gone.
okay.
Haven't heard a peep
We really
because I haven't
haven't.
seen it. You haven't heard shit from
We
Caitlyn
haven't
Jenner
seen her.
at all.
Not an
At all.
op-ed,
Nothing. Nothing.
not a
Nothing.
post,
Not on Fox News. None of the things she was doing before the election. Ain't no
no
Caitlyn
group
Jenner.
chat leaks for her,
Nothing.
no seeing Lady Gaga at Starbucks.
Mm. That
Nothing.
clip is still funny too.
So
She thought I was like, oh
funny.
yeah, no. The excuse use was so funny.
Right.
It's just like you could just be like, I don't fuck with you for real. But yeah, no Caitlyn Jenner. But yeah, congratulations to T.S. Madison and all the groups that were involved in this. This is really cool.
We love to see it.
Hmm.
Hope more of these come about because they are definitely needed. And I hope
Hmm.
that this is just the beginning for TS Madison into making this a national thing as well as
Yeah,
expanding in the Atlanta area.
yeah. What a wonderful way to use your former home too.
Very
Just be like,
much
no, I'm
the
gonna put people in need in there and people who
exactly.
deserve a second chance and everything. And yeah, that's huge, obviously. So
Yeah. It's a
that's
solid mantra of like remembering where you came from and
exactly.
then helping to push people forward with the resources that you have now been able to obtain and to
Hmm.
be able to give back.
We all we got.
Especially
We are. No, we
nowadays.
for real are. Like in the world as well.
Okay.
Like, that's it. It's
Okay.
just us. So, woof. Yeah. Allergies and tariffs. Mm.
Allergies and tariffs.
Mm, mm, mm.
All right, let's wrap up our categories with our March Madness, and now we're shifting into the
Mm,
WNBA
mm,
season. Don't
mm.
we love how the basketball has not
So
stopped?
quick.
Went to
It's always so
unrivaled, and
quick.
now we have the WNBA draft, and the season's gonna start around the corner. I
Hmm.
love it here. I love women sports. I love women in sports. I
Yeah.
love all of the things. So,
Football be off for like 5 months into the draft. And then it's
yep.
like they're like, we'll see you next Monday at the
Be like, stay
draft.
in shape.
Yep,
Stay in shape.
exactly. Exactly. Like you can celebrate, but not for real. Like you
Yeah.
still gotta be ready
You
to
got a
go because
couple
it's like
couple
bam,
cheat
bam, bam.
days,
Yeah.
and
That's
that's
why I'm
it.
actually a little scared of what Caitlin Clark's gonna look like with a full rest. Like what? Like that's and Angel Reese, like everybody from that was drafted last year. But yeah, let's talk about that game. Mm, mm,
Mm-mm-mm.
mm, mm,
Well,
mm.
first, I want to shout out everybody who joined us in the live chat that we did on
Mhm.
our Patreon. It was a good time. Trash was talked, things were brought to
Yeah.
light.
It was like a little trash talk because I mean I think we kind of saw where it was gonna go.
Yeah,
We were
it was
like,
very quick
oh,
to see
kind of knew.
where it was going,
So
and it kind of hurt. It kind of hurt early on
yeah.
to be able to
Once we got
see
to the
that.
third quarter, after like the real game starts in the second half.
Uh-huh.
It didn't, and then it ended abruptly. It
Yeah,
did. It did start and it ended. Like it
it
was just
did.
like, oh, okay,
It
I
did.
see. Hmm.
It's very unfortunate. Very unfortunate. Like you could even see it on
Yeah.
Dawn's face.
Oh
She was
my
like, well,
God. Yeah. What was it? It
well,
was the three. Was it Sarah Strong's three? Was that the? It was. I know it was the third quarter, but it was when she was like, "Fuck!" Like she was, and then
yeah.
she was just like, "That's it." Because they had a little. It was after Malaysia Fool Wiley had, you know, done a couple things on defense, and then she scored, and there was just a little bit of a spark, and then it was like extinguished, and it was
Hmm.
just like, "Oh, Don." But so it wasn't the game we wanted
Yep. Was hoping
per
it was
se.
going to be
It was a
way
game we
closer.
it was a matchup we wanted, but it was
Yes.
not a close game for real.
No.
It's
Because
like
we
it
were,
really
and
wasn't.
that's what we hoped was it was going to be like at most a 5 point game.
Yeah.
At most. And that
Yeah.
5 points would
Yeah.
have happened in the last minute. That's
I
what
think
we
it was like
wanted.
a 5 point game in the first quarter, and that was it. That was
If that.
that was
If
the
that.
closest
Because
it
didn't they
was.
start off with like 13-0 or something?
Yeah, yeah, or maybe I should say probably the second quarter because remember, yeah, they had a hard. The South Carolina had a hot start to the game shooting wise, and it was just like, oh, it's about to be something, and then yeah, they fell off a cliff.
Mm.
They fell off a cliff literally, and their defense kept them in the game, but UConn. Congratulations to UConn. They deserve
Hmm.
to win. They beat that ass. They scored more than the men's game was also trash too. I didn't watch it, but I saw the
I
highlights.
watched
I
the
was
end
like,
of it
damn,
because
this is low
what was it?
scoring.
I got back from I got off of practice and I had to like do some work and
Hmm.
nothing was on TV. So I said, "Oh, am I about to turn on a men's basketball game?" But I was like,
Yeah.
I had so many teammates who had bet on it, so I was like, "Let me see." So that like as I'm watching their trash talk in the group chat, I was like, "Oh,
Hmm.
I'm watching, I'm doing the things." That was the dumbest way to finish a
Ooh,
game.
what a terrible way
The
to. Ooh,
dumbest way to
ooh.
end a March Madness game for
Yeah,
any sport, men or women,
yeah,
but men not surprised
yeah.
it was
It's
you.
pretty
I was
bad.
like, you jumped
It's
up,
pretty bad.
bounced. Your teammates had no idea that you could not touch the ball. And so you just had to stand there and box out and watch the time go down. And also,
uh,
you are watching the time go down as you should have gotten this shot off. So,
and just let it go at that point because you could have got fouled.
mm-hmm,
You could have, your one of your teammates could have gotten a rebound, but it was just that last sequence was crazy. Like
wild.
Kelvin Sampson, who is a coach of Houston, uh, didn't say anything that whole sequence either. Like they didn't set up a play. They didn't.
Mm-mm.
It was just like I don't know off the vibes. Like it was just the craziest way to kind of end and just like yeah, so that last play was pretty crazy, and that's gonna haunt the fuck out of them because again, if you take a shot, miss it, all right, it
Yeah.
just is what it
Like you
is.
tried.
But
At least you tried.
not getting a shot off and it being just a bucket game like that was a
Mm-mm.
oof, it's a nasty ending for them. But anyways, back to the women's game.
There
Like,
we go. The fact that
yeah,
you even knew their names, I was very impressed.
I like Kelvin Sampson. He coached somebody growing up that I like. I don't know if it was Kentucky. But I know that like the black coaches on the other, side over there. Shaka
Hmm.
Smart was at VCU for a while. So I try and keep up with the black coaches over there
Okay.
and in general.
I like
So
that.
I wanted him to win because he had never won and he's been there for a while. And it was just
Hmm.
like,
Hmm.
I would have thought he would have been more animated, like, hey, let's call a play. But he just like watched the dream go down the drain. It was like, I don't know,
Like
this
truly.
feels sad. So, anyways, what did you think of what did you think? When did you know it was over? Because I was like for the UConn and South Carolina game because I was like, I think we might need to start folding up these chairs.
You
Like,
really did. You were in the chat like whale, and I was like, "Stop,
ooh.
Fran, Fran,
I
stop."
was like, ooh.
Maybe,
Yeah,
maybe. I think it's for basketball, especially for women's basketball. I never really give it away until the last like 5 minutes of the fourth quarter
hmm.
because we've seen so many epic comebacks,
Oh yeah,
and especially because they were still in the window of like what they were down like 15. And I was like, we can still make it back. They got down by 20. I was like, we can still make it back. It's
voice
it's
higher and
okay.
higher
It's
per
okay.
5 point
We
increment.
can make it. We just got to make some really good plays. And then we started to get in the single digits of the fourth quarter, and I was like, oh, this might be like I'm pretty sure I think it was around like 7 or 8 minutes
Hmm.
in the fourth quarter that I was like,
Yeah,
I think that might be it. And then we dropped down to 30, and I was like, God damn. God,
yeah.
okay. That's what
They just
we're
didn't have the
that's what we're doing.
offense. They just didn't have the
They
offense. They
didn't.
had
It
no
wasn't hitting
answer.
anywhere. And it wasn't like the
Me either.
shots weren't there. They just weren't in.
They weren't.
They weren't
Mm-mm.
in. They couldn't
Mm-mm.
do it for the life of them. It was just one of those like iced out games that happens, and sometimes it just happens to everybody.
Yeah.
And that was rough to see because you could see that UConn just came out on. They
Yeah.
were
It was
ready,
like it was already
ready.
predestined. Like it just felt like it was destiny. I was like, oh, okay, this is they Paige is getting a ring. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So, and they deserved it. Like they really did. Like it was what it was. Like you said, it wasn't like the shot selection was bad for South Carolina. It just wasn't going down,
Yeah.
I do think, and I've thought that all season, and in our chat when we were doing during our live chat, I had dropped the picture of Cheryl Lee Ralph from Sister Act 2 because I feel like Dawn always looks at Malaysia Full Wiley like that. And I just feel like sometimes she gets so mad at her and sits her
She
for
really
too
does.
long. It's too long. Like I'm like, I know you got to pull it out. Like, she had these two really costly turnovers by I think it was it AZ Fudd had stripped her twice. I think it was AZ Fudd.
I was
But
like,
it
AZ Fudd
almost looked
definitely got her a few
like
times. And then the other person who, I should know her name, who was marking her most of the time, but they were going back and forth a lot.
okay.
And
It
then
looked like
AZ
the
would come in
same
and just be like,
play.
thank
It
you.
looked like the same play. She was trying to
Thank you again.
drive and then she, helped defense and was stripper. And it was like two of the same plays. But it was like after that happened, especially the second time, she Malaysia was on the bench for a while. And I was like, given that y'all are struggling to score, like I was like, I know you want to sit her, but you just can't. Like, I think she sits her for too long when she can still create her shot more than anybody, and like you can always start to get hot. So, I don't know. It wasn't in the cards. Like they didn't. South Carolina was not the better team. It was amazing they got that far, without Watkins and all that. But they'll be back. You see what
Hmm.
Don went out and got
Okay. She and
the
did
day after.
and did. I
So
was like, and Raven was so excited. She's like, well, reunited. And it feels so good. I
yeah,
was like, man,
yeah.
that's going to be out of control. And I think very helpful for Raven as
Oh
well.
yeah. Oh yeah, yeah.
I'm glad that they did a lot more conversations of highlighting Raven's skill in the
Mm-hmm.
fact that like she may not show up on the scorecard a lot or on the numbers and things a lot, but the
Mm-hmm.
impact that she has in the game and how she
A lot
moves
of
needs
hustle.
to be
Mm-hmm.
watched
Mm-hmm.
because she is a high impact player, just not in the key ways that you may mark down on a stat sheet.
Yeah.
And I think those are the players that get overlooked a lot, but she should not be overlooked because she is just high impact, even if it
Mm-hmm.
doesn't show on those stat sheets. And I hope that she continues to be able to show up a bit more in the
Mm-hmm.
areas that she deserves to. But I love that more coaches were highlighting her capabilities. And
Mm-hmm.
when she gets to the W, I hope that it's a coach that appreciates that from her.
Yeah. I hope that there will be, what was it? It was Diana Taurasi had the bigger shout out where it's like she deserves to be on a team, like her hustle, her defense, and everything. So I hope she does. But it just UConn, I hadn't realized hadn't won a title in 9 years, which us growing up, that seems so crazy because it was
Mm-hmm.
just like
Because it was
every
every
goddamn
year.
year. It was either Denver,
Every year.
Tennessee. I was a Tennessee girly, Pat Summit. But it was every year. Like they were so dominant. And I remember the conversation being like, are they too dominant? Are they bad for women's basketball because they would just
Hmm.
win all the time or at least be there? But it's so amazing to see how far, the game has come and, all of the parity and talent across things. I did want to ask something unrelated. What is going on or what happened with Notre Dame and like their players leaving because
Mm,
they got the fuck out of there. And I was like, did something happen? Like,
nothing outwardly,
okay,
but all the
they got the
speculation
fuck
is around
out of
Hannah.
there. Okay. Hmm. Hmm. Okay.
So that's the
What's the
speculation.
speculation?
Well, I'm assuming carrying over from her comment that she made about the LGBTQ plus community, plus apparently like behind the scenes seems like it's a lot of drama and a lot of just issues,
Okay.
gelling, meshing type issues that was the issue.
Hmm.
There was no confirmation of any of these things happening. Nobody has spoken out about it just yet, but I think it's only a matter of time before somebody says what was actually happening because they could have looked good on the court, they could have meshed well on the court, but they could have had a bunch of issues behind the scenes.
Yeah.
And I'm impressed with how hush hush everybody has been able to keep it. I hope it's not
So
the
far.
coach. I hope it's not
I
the coach
know.
because
That
she
coach is
seems
fine.
she's okay. First off, can we talk
Yeah.
about it?
And
Because
that's
the
my
way
problem is that she probably might be toxic. I'm like, well, why would y'all
that's
want
what
to
I
leave?
hope. That's why I'm like, I hope it's not the coach.
Yeah. But it might be though,
But
because
Hannah's
it's
the only
Hannah.
one that
Hannah
hasn't jumped
crazy.
ship.
Yeah.
Everybody else has. Their whole
It's
like starting
interesting.
lineup has jumped.
Yeah. Yeah. And that was the thing. I keep seeing people jumping. I was like, well, something's happening. Like there it just doesn't happen. And I know the money is the money in the portal, but it was just like,
Hmm.
I don't think a whole team, especially being that close where they could get somebody in the transfer portal or just have another year to run it back and they could, maybe make it all the way. But
Hmm.
um yeah, I was like, am I missing something? Is there some hot goss?
I want to know. I
Hmm.
want Olivia to do like a secret tell all,
Yeah,
especially
something
because it
happened.
seems like the people who have been scorned the most end
Hmm.
up at TCU.
They do. What's up with
Okay.
TCU? And then I
Apparently
was like, is that like the
creating a
oil money
warm,
thing with Texas?
comfy
Like,
environment.
who
Because that coach just seems so sweet. It's so
is their
wholesome.
coach? Who is their
He's just
coach?
this little gingerbread man.
Oh yeah, just nice. And I was like, again, like, again, given the portal and us being in this new era of like it you make more money if you stay. Like
Hmm.
I know, Texas schools, especially with that oil money, like their boosters have money and it's just like come to TCU kind of thing. So I was like, that's one thing. But I was like, yeah, there's gotta be a reason people are going. Like, you know, Hannah Van Leith, like Lath or whatever Lath,
Van
whatever.
Lith. Van Lith.
Van Lith. There we
Yeah.
go. She went there, revitalized or redeemed herself from
Uh-huh.
LSU. So,
Sedona went there.
yeah,
People forgot all about the stuff that she did.
yeah.
Their PR team
So
did great.
they did a good job. They did a good job. They did the
Okay.
best they could.
And now
Okay.
Olivia's going out there.
Yeah.
I'm like, what
What is down
is
there?
happening? What therapy services do they have on site to help them? And also,
Yeah.
yeah, because each time I like see their coach engage, I'm just like, he just seems just like a lovely human.
Where
And so
is TCU? Where in
we're in
Texas is it?
Texas. Oh, that's a good question.
Yeah, I was like, I know it's Texas Christian, but it's a live
We're,
Google going on
we're
here.
doing it.
Oh, Fort Worth. Okay, Dallas
Oh,
is a good place to go
Dallas is a
and
good
be
place to
around.
go.
Yeah, Dallas Fort Worth area. That's it. Okay. I
Yeah.
was like, where is it?
I
Like,
was
where
like,
are
no,
y'all
don't
going?
know.
But okay,
Somebody who was
got
listening
it.
who's an alumni was like, it's here.
Right. Fort Worth. Okay.
Or they
All
were like,
right.
yeah, that tracks. So,
Yeah. I mean, that
that's
might be a little bit more fun than South Bend in Indiana,
yeah, but I mean the
whatever her
campus of
name
Notre
is.
Dame is insane.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah.
I would imagine. I mean, all that money,
Yeah.
NBC money. So,
It's
you know.
yeah, insane. So, yeah, we're it's going to be interesting to see all of this and you can see all of the plays also with a lot of people staying their extra year.
Mm-hmm.
They're paying attention to what the WNBA is doing too. And they said,
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go where the money resides.
Yeah.
Where the money resides, where the money resides. So smart decisions all around. Exciting to see a
Get
lot
that
of people
money.
returning next year. They said Flau'jae Johnson has announced that she's not going to go into the WNBA at the moment, but also hasn't announced what she's doing. I'm assuming she'll stay at
Oh.
LSU because that's her brand, her man's there, all the things.
Mm.
But she hasn't announced what she's doing yet. So everybody's kind of just waiting.
More
But in the
money.
meantime, we have the WNBA draft coming up on April 14th. So this will come out after, before. I don't know what day it
Same
is.
day, right?
Yeah, there we go. So we have seen posts from certain teams that already know, obviously, first draft pick
Yeah.
is going to be Paige, and
I
Arike
was
and DiJonai Carrington have
remember
already
when I was like,
posted.
if we can maybe bad talk Paige and now she'll drop and
Right.
everything. And it's like,
There was a
no.
there was a period of the season that it
Where it
was,
looked a little, she
and
might,
then she
yeah,
won that ship, and they were
slide.
like, "Wait a minute,
There's no way now.
our investment is fine. Thank you so much."
Yeah.
So yeah, so Paige going to Dallas. It was, I think the best was DiJonai Carrington, and was like basically like, hey teammate, but starred out the MMAT part because she couldn't officially say it, but she was just like, hey teammate. And Arike just keeps saying all of these things to get Paige excited on the internet. And I love to see it. I love how excited they are. I'm hoping that this propels it forward for Dallas to get a workout facility as well. I don't know where they work
Mm.
out, but I know that they don't have one officially, I
Mm.
don't think.
Jesus.
And really want that to happen. Um, Other things to pay attention to during the WNBA draft. Vegas doesn't have a 2025 first round draft pick after their
Mm.
pick was rescinded by the WNBA for violating league rules regarding player benefits. So, reminder, but that didn't hurt them last year either when they decided to get Kate Martin
It it didn't.
late in the game.
But
Becky knows what she's doing, so it's fine.
mm.
Um, Somebody to pay attention to who, for the US folks, might be a sleeper, but for any international audience, probably not a sleeper. Dominique Malonga, who is a center and from France,
Mm.
potentially could go to Seattle, potentially could go to DC.
Mm.
Rumors have it that they're like, the Majestics are potentially choosing between Dominique and Anissa Morrow. So it could be hot and interesting to see who goes first. Haley Van Lith will be there. I think she would be solid for the Valkyries, but I don't know if she would go that early. The Valkyries have the fifth pick, and I don't know if she would be the person that goes there. I could also see Georgia go that early, but I also, the articles don't think that Georgia's going to go in the first, or like, excuse me, in the first 10, in the first
Hmm.
10 picks. So I'm interested to see what that could look like. A lot of the articles that are also speculating say that Kiki Irafen is going to
Hmm.
go to the Valkyries, which I think would
Hmm.
be a fun
Yep.
time.
Come back to the Bay. You know, she was
Okay.
at Stanford
Mm-hmm.
before. Come on back.
She,
Come on
you
back.
said, come on home.
Come on
It's all right.
home. Come on
Come on
back.
home.
Yep.
Um, Chicago Sky has a top 10 pick, and I would love it if it was either Tahina Powpow, Haley Van Lith, or Georgia.
Hmm.
So that's what I'm hoping for, but I would love Powpow the most. Like to see Tahina
Okay.
Powpow and Angel and then Camilla reunited.
Yeah,
Ah,
that'd be cool.
ah, would
That'd
be
be cool.
amazing.
Where do you think Haley's gonna end up?
It's a great question. You know what?
Yeah.
It's a great question.
By the way, you fucked me up with the Majestics. It's the Mystics, right?
Oh no, did I say Majestics?
Yeah, I was like,
God damn
when
it.
you
I
first said
sure
that,
did write that
I like
down and I
looked on
read it.
the doc. I was like, is there a team I don't know in the WNBA? Should I say something?
Somebody
I was
listening
like,
was like, "Are
oh,
you
the
a real
Mystics.
fan?" Somebody just listened to this
Right,
was
you
like, "Are
from
you a
DC
real
too,
fan?" I was wondering
right?
because I was saying, I was like the Majestics. I was like, that even sounded weird to me as I was saying it, but I
Yeah,
was really committed to my note taking and
that's what the
literally
Wizards should
wrote that.
rename their
The
sorry ass team.
Majestics, that would actually
Yeah,
be dope for
wouldn't that
them.
go? Yeah,
I
that'd be
apologize to
kind
the
of fly.
Mystics. I
Yeah,
know what I did.
yeah, you knew.
Damn,
I knew in your heart, and the people knew.
you know my heart.
I was like, it just fucked me up. I was
I'm
like,
from there. That's so
yeah,
upsetting.
and it was
I know
like the
what I did.
Majestics.
Allergies and tariffs, y'all. Allergies and tariffs.
Listen,
Okay.
allergies and tariffs is the
Allergies
name
and
of this
tariffs.
episode for sure. It's just barely making it. Okay,
We're doing our best.
I'm really trying.
I hate that I
I was
call.
about to put my actual like tissue box up here and just
Sponsored
stop
by,
playing with y'all.
sponsored
Right.
by Kleenex.
Get this Kleenex bag. Positive,
Wow,
get
I said the
Kleenex.
Washington Majestics. That's terrible. The
It's okay.
Mystics.
Yeah,
The
Mystics.
Mystics.
The Majestics. Bling,
Okay.
bling, bling,
Look, honestly, that would actually be great as
bling.
well and make that a
Yeah,
whole
no, we
thing.
could
But the
go.
Mystics could they could eat during this like this
Yeah.
first round. Seattle could get a couple of people because they moved some folks and they need to get some folks back. But
Hmm.
we also with the disrespect that they put on Nika Mule, like I don't know if they really
Mm.
deserve
Hmm.
to have
Hmm.
that. But I also think uh NECA possibly needs some more help in the paint.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So they could pick the center early, or they could choose to go for a guard or somebody as well. I think it's going to be fun. It's going to be a fun little mix of who's going where. What are some of your guesses? What are some of your things?
I don't really have any guesses. Like I haven't really paid attention to who's going in what order besides like the top five. I'm
Mm.
just
Here
I'm
for the
a
vibes?
I just hope people land where they'll be helpful. Like I want to just see how things shake out.
Hmm.
Um, I do think like I feel like the Mystics have picked early the last couple years, so I was like, they gotta be piling. Like
Yeah.
they are
Plus, they
piling
have a
up
new
with
coach and
some
a new GM.
yeah. So
So
and their
this is
owner
the
is
time.
that who's that black lady that owns them? Somebody owns them that's black.
Hmm.
So I'm just pointing that out. But anyways, like I feel like they should be better. I was more interested than in all the free agency moves and how they're gonna go more so than the draft picks because it was just a
Truly.
wild free agency. It's just been wild. So yeah,
Chicago
we'll see.
decided
I'm
to
just
do
excited.
small things, but it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. I love
Yeah.
our coaching staff though. So
Yeah, I don't know what y'all got going on though. I
look, I
don't
don't
know.
know either.
I
We
don't
don't
know
know
what y'all
either.
got going on. So
We
we'll
need a
see.
press conference for the fans so that
Yeah.
we can
They should really
understand.
try
But
to
it's
make it
okay. I got
up
my
to y'all.
tickets to the second United Center game against the Indiana Fever, so that's all that matters.
As you can imagine, the Valkyries home game is ridiculously priced. I think like lower bowl seats are like I saw some shit being 10,000 in the bay, and I was like,
Jeez.
somebody will pay that. So
Jeez.
somebody will pay that
Good
for
for
their
them. You know
yeah
what?
their daughter or
Good
son
for
to go
them. We deserve
or child. Yeah,
have some of those
yeah, that
for the women's game.
Bay
Go
Area
ahead.
money. Yeah,
Yeah.
yep, part of history. So
Mm-hmm.
it's gonna be exciting. Yeah, all this starts so quickly. So
It
we'll see
does.
where things shape out.
It does.
And congratulations to UConn. Do you think Gino's gonna retire? Or he's
I
gonna
don't think so.
play on a
I
couple
think he's
years? I
gonna
think
play
he has a
on
couple years. Yeah,
at least until AZ is done.
or Sarah Strong
Which would
because
I
he
don't know if he can make all of Sarah Strong's years.
he might not.
I don't know if he
He
can do
might
all of
he
that.
might leave with Sarah.
I
Yeah,
don't know if
he
he can
might
make it
leave
the
with
whole
Sarah. It
time.
just depends. It
But
depends on how Sarah shows up next year. If
yeah,
they win, let's say they go back to back. I think he leaves next year.
if
Um,
they go back to back, I think he could just go ahead and be like, I'm fine.
yeah, this is enough.
I'm fine.
Yeah,
We're good.
this is
Y'all are good. We're in
mm-hmm.
good hands. Cause even when during the soon Diana show, they were
Mm-hmm.
talking about how like, oh, he could just stay for this person, or he could stay for this person. They were like, yeah, until the next amazing thing comes
I
through
know
because
it's
he
UConn. It's
consistently
just
has
it's just gonna
amazing
keep
things.
reloading.
So
Yeah, look at this weapon.
that's
Yeah,
what it
so
would be. And I think there has to be a point that stops, but I think the point that they made that he has a soft spot for AZ Fudd and that
mm-hmm.
she's returning, especially after all that she had to go through with her injuries and not being
Mm-hmm.
able to play. And now she's coming back and she was hot during the tournament.
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
think he will at least stay through that.
Mm-hmm.
Get Sarah to her sophomore year. She'll be set, good to go,
Yeah,
and be good to go there. So
yeah,
we'll see.
we'll
We'll see. Because
see.
I mean, regardless, he's not going to end up leaving. 9 times out of 10, he's going to take whoever the athletic director's job is probably and just be like, here, I'll be over
Yeah,
here.
if he wants, he honestly could pick his job. He could go anywhere he wants. He could go on TV and they give him the bag.
All he's
He
going to
could
do is
go to
do
the WNBA and get the bag.
go on tours
He
for
can be,
talks.
yep, all that like athletic director. Like he will be able to do whatever the fuck he wants. And I think that do you think that anybody breaks the record of how many championships he won? I think they're at like what 13 or something for
Hmm.
UConn. Yeah.
I
Do you
think
think
Dawn
anybody gets
could.
close? You think Don can? She's at
Hmm.
3. So
And
I don't
she's got
know.
plenty of years left. Like she signed a
She has a lot of
long
years.
extension contract. Like I think she could.
She's got a lot of years. Yeah.
Hmm.
So we'll see. We'll see. I still think at some point somebody comes. I do think after the CBA and the WNBA settles their shit, one of these college coaches are going to be in the WNBA. I don't know if that's Mulkey. I don't know if it's Don. I don't think Gino wants to. with
No.
those two for sure. Because like again, the
Don doesn't
money
want to
really,
either.
but everybody says that until everybody has a price. Like if somebody came
But
and
I
gave her the
feel
bag,
like,
one of these billionaire
honestly,
owners, we were like,
I
hey,
think I think
hey,
South Carolina would
Don,
continue to pay more than
somebody would have longer money than South Carolina. What if they were like, Don,
Carolina would.
name your price. Name your price. Like whether that's at the Sparks billionaire owner, the Liberties owner. Like there's so many billionaire owners that would see the value in like obviously having Don. It's all the sales and you have
Hmm.
the code. So I could see it. I mean, South Carolina will continue to give her all of the monies.
Yeah.
But there's going to be some owner, some billionaire owner that's like, what do you want, Don? Just name it. Just
I
write a
think
number
she's
down,
good.
Don. Look,
I think she's
write it
good.
down, Don, and just look, fold the paper, slide it to me, Don, and I'll let you know if I could do it.
They're
So
gonna pop out as she's like walking down a hallway, and they're just gonna like slide the paper out like here.
slide
Psst,
the
hey,
paper here.
psst, psst.
Let me know what you think of this number, Don. So, but again, the pressures is, I mean, obviously college coach, the pressure is so different from the
Hmm.
pros. Like it'd be so different. But I'm just saying, that money, South Carolina can go so far as some of these billionaires can.
I
But
was
we'll
like, but that
see.
university life is
Yeah,
cush
that's
though.
that's the
It's
thing.
cush. Like
That
you
is
can
it.
you can actually build tenure, longevity,
You can. You
a
can. And
whole
has it. And has it.
yes, and
What
she
if
has
it
put a
gets
whole
boring?
brand behind herself. I don't think so.
What if it gets boring?
Because with the children,
You
it's
know?
very entertaining.
Yes.
It's very
Don's
entertaining.
daycare is cute. Everything's cool now. I'm just saying. Just
All right,
don't
what's your
roll it out.
timeline? What's your timeline? What do
Three
you
to
give
five
it?
years. No,
Three to
more
five.
closer to
She just signed like a 10-year extension.
5 years. 5 years. Because she could get out of that. Coaches leave every day.
Uh,
So she might have to pay some of that money back, but she'd be all right. I
mm.
think I'll say 5 to 7 years. She's out of there. She's not, I
All
don't
right.
know.
We
I
said
just
this
see
here.
it. I could
April
see it.
9th,
I could see
2025.
it. Mm-hmm.
Chris is calling this now.
Yeah.
All
I think
right.
she's gonna start the 2030s somewhere else. Like, you know what? I'm a little tired of South Carolina. I would love to be in a anywhere else, but I don't know.
Hmm.
Cost of living is so cheap down there. She is,
Yeah.
the queen down there. So
Yep.
a lot of reasons to stay. All the reasons to stay until somebody comes up and says, "Hey, write your number down and then slide it back to me." Just see. Let's just see.
Let's
You
see.
know,
All right.
we'll see.
Okay.
So we'll see. But all right. Well, congratulations to everyone who participated in March Madness, the winners, the losers, and really us for being able to, you know, watch all that and see it grow. So they need a bigger arena next year. I mean,
Oh, for
it
sure.
is full. Okay.
Yeah.
So we're selling out. It's like what, the fourth or fifth year is selling out. So
Hmm.
yeah, let's get to the 20,000, 30,000, seat ones or whatever, 20,000 at least get into there. But,
Yeah.
we'll see. Do you know where it is next year? I know they have it always mapped out a
No,
couple
I didn't pay
years.
attention.
Oh, you know what it is? It's I think it's in Phoenix because they said something about Diana Taurasi and coming back. So I think
Oh,
it's
yeah.
this
That's
year.
correct.
Tampa
Good
this
job
year,
paying
Phoenix.
attention to that.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
I try. All right. We are doing this. Making it through the allergies, making it through the segments. Our next segment is Am I a Bad Queer? Where we get real about your questions and dilemmas. Got something on your mind? Don't keep it to yourself. Send your questions to badqueers.com. Hit us up on IG at badqueerspod or email us at badqueers@badqueers.com. All right. This first one is from T. T says, "Hey y'all, I'm a soft stud in my early 30s, and I've been in a relationship with a femme woman who has two young kids. I love her, I really do. But now that things are getting serious, she keeps joking, not joking in parentheses, about how I'd be the stud dad. And I'm just trying to be someone's piece, not their parent. I didn't sign up for morning drop-offs and soccer practice. Am I a bad queer for loving her but not wanting the full family package? T. All right. Well, T, the two young children do have a parent. That woman had procreated with someone. It sounds like they have a parent,
Mm.
so you don't have to be their parent. But if you're dating someone with kids, there's going to be some level of co-parenting. You can't just date the mom without the kids. That's just not
Hmm.
how it works. The kids are there. They're young kids too. If they're a little older, then it's like okay, they'll go on their phones or whatever teenagers and them do. But it just doesn't work that way. Now your boundary could be the things that you won't do with them and like not wanting to step on the other parent's toes or just give them the um give the kids the impression that you are like their parent or even guardian. It sounds like you don't want to be any of those things. So I think you're fine with setting your boundaries there, but be ready for that person to maybe think twice about continuing with you because I wouldn't want to date somebody who, if I had kids, I would want to date somebody who wants to be a parent at some point because it's just like, I mean, what are we talking about here? Like, I have to continue to raise my kid. It doesn't mean that I want you to co-parent because that my children have a parent. But yeah, the morning drop-offs, those kind of things, those are very helpful things. And I don't think that means that you're super parent. It's just helpful. So if you don't even want to do like the morning drop-offs and all that, then you're not her piece. So you're
Mm-hmm.
not trying to be her piece because her
That
kids are
part.
part of all of this. Like you can't,
Yes.
once you have kids, you can't separate it. Like they're here. You either want to help out. You could be, whatever name you want to give yourself. Maybe they just call you just T. So that, again, I get not wanting to be the parent or guardian figure, and that is totally fine. And it probably actually keeps the drama from, again, with whoever their parent is, or the person they co-parent with. But not wanting to do really much with their kids or help out, you might as well just go. Like, don't waste their time. You're not going to be their piece. And yeah, there's probably someone else that's more compatible with you that doesn't have kids. So
Yep.
yeah, that's really just what it is. Like, I don't think you should be with this person then.
Agreed.
Yep.
Chris, you said the point that I was going to make. How are you going to be this person's piece when you're not willing to be a part of it, when you know what you signed up for?
You can't drop them off at soccer.
I think
Like, you don't want to do drop offs
there's a realization when you're dating someone with kids that at some point you're going to do something.
with those kids.
You're going to be at a soccer game at some
You are.
point because guess what?
Mhm.
The kids might have a busy ass schedule and the only time that you can really hang out with your boo is at a soccer game
Mhm.
and you're going to have to go and be there.
Yeah.
I think when people get into relationships with people who have kids, they should have some sort of expectation that they will do something with the kids.
Yeah.
They're going to be a part of the kids' lives. They can't always separate it because what happens when the kid gets sick? What
Mhm.
happens when there's an issue at school? What
Mhm.
happens when the co-parenting with the other actual like parent and you have to all bring those things in together. If you're getting
Mhm.
more serious, then you have to also be more serious about the kids. It's not you just get her.
Yeah.
So I would say that you are a bad queer because you got into a relationship knowing that there was a full package to be had, and you're like, I really just want to pick this
Yeah. You
thing
can't do
out
that.
of the package. And it's like, you can't. So the fact that you willingly got into this relationship and are at the point that it's getting serious, and you're like, but I don't want that. I just like her. You can't because
Yeah. It
she
doesn't work that
she
way.
can't give them back. So you have to take the full package or nothing. So I think you
Yeah.
are a bad queer for this because now you're trying to
Yeah.
renege on the deal that you put yourself into.
Yeah.
Bad queer.
You don't have to do this. So, you know, yeah, that's kind of weird. I don't know why you got in this relate. Would you think that they were gonna put you first? When you have
Right.
a kid, they're raising humans. Like they're raising little humans. Like you can't just. And if that person did put you over their kids, that's a red fucking flag. Like
Mm-hmm.
that should be a red flag. It's not for you, obviously, but that's a red fucking
That's
flag.
a
I
red
would be
flag.
like, yeah, that's a red flag. What? Like, yeah. So you are back queer and break up with them so that they can find their peace for real. And you too, honestly. Like
Mm-hmm.
this isn't a fit. So hope that helps. Happy Pride.
All right. Our next Am I a Bad Queer comes from Amanda. Amanda says, Am I a bad queer? I'm a black queer parent re-entering the dating world. Wow, lots of parent
Parents stand
messages
up.
today. Come on. Every time I mention my kids up front, people ghost. So I've
Mm,
started leaving it off until the
that's what
second
T
or
should have done.
third convo, right? That part. And
Oh
suddenly
God.
I'm getting more matches. I feel bad that I have to do this, like it's deceiving, but it's the only way I can get dates. Is
Mm,
there another way I should be going about this, or should I just continue on my success rate?
mm.
Wow, what a flip.
Jeez.
What a flip.
Yeah.
Like, you hate to see it, but I
It's the other
think the
side of it.
way that you should go about this for you Because I'm wondering how far in these success rates you've made it since you're saying like, oh, you're maybe in just a slew of first dates and you haven't gotten to that second or third to let people know that they have kids. Um, Probably have those conversations. Maybe you can leave it off of your profile, but have it in the conversation early on to be like, hey, do you like kids? Do you want kids? And that can
Mhm.
be your way of weeding
I
out the
have
people
kids.
and slowly introducing them to the fact that you have kids. So then you at least know that you're in it with a person who is interested in kids and in having kids. And then you can just be like, hey, once you get to that point, luck of the draw, I already got a couple or one, whatever. And I hope that's cool.
That's so funny. I'm so far removed from dating. Like, if I, knock on wood, got divorced, I am like Titanic, like leading with like I have a child. Like I am gonna,
Liking.
yeah, like I have a child. Like they bring me through. Like it's just because I would want to filter as many people. I wouldn't want anybody to get any impression without knowing like
Hmm.
I am a parent.
Yeah, because it is a
You
waste
know?
of your time to like take
It
that
is.
off. So it's like if you're just out here just trying to fuck, then sure, take
Yeah,
the
no,
kids
then
off,
take
go
that
hook
off.
up and do
Yeah.
whatever. But
It's
if you're
very
looking for
different.
a long-term partner, to Chris's point, I feel like you should probably lead.
Yeah, I have a child. They're like, come on. He should have never gotten that life thing. They should have took the child and he shouldn't have, but whatever. That's here nor there. But yeah, I
Yep.
would lead with that. You want to filter that out. You don't want to, but it like you mentioned, Shayna, like it depends on your goals. Like if you're just, I mean, if you're fresh out of a relationship and you are not trying to be with anybody else and you're just trying to casually date and fuck
Hmm.
and all that, then yeah, you could take them out. You could take that out.
Yeah.
Like I think that's actually fine, because they don't need to know. Um, but yeah, it just depends on what your goals are. So
Hmm.
hope that helps. My goodness.
What a range. What a flip.
Ooh,
What
yeah.
a flop.
Happy Pride. Okay, this last one. And thank y'all for dealing with this fever that I have and allergies. I have a convergence of things going on. So thank y'all. Am I a bad queer? My ex and I were on the same gay kickball team. After our breakup, I left to avoid the drama, but now I kind of miss the league. That's so funny.
That's
The
so fair.
socials were
I
fun.
understand this. I understand this
I
so deep.
miss seeing my friends along with making new friends, and it was my favorite workout. Am I a bad queer for wanting to rejoin and possibly see my ex every Sunday? You're a bad queer if you're trying to avoid it to not see it. Like, get back in that
Get
kickball, get back in
your
the
ass.
league. Just go. Like, who cares? Like, if you see your ex, you see your ex every Sunday. Just head nod. It's fine. Hopefully, it's no bad ending, any trauma associated with that would keep you away.
Hmm.
But if you are safe and if it ended okay, it might not be the best, but if y'all are all right to be on the same field together, then I think you could join kickball again. Like it's okay. Like if you see your ex, you see your ex. Like that's fine. I don't, I never got that. I never got the whole ducking your ex thing because it was just
Hmm.
like, yeah. I mean, yeah, no. I mean, if you see him, you see him. Like I'm not gonna have a conversation with you. For real, but I don't know. Ducking you is it's a bit much. Like there's things I want to do. So, and it sounds like you love kickball, so get back in the league, make new friends, might find a new boo. So
Hmm.
work out, don't let them keep you from that.
Please don't. I was like, as a person who still plays in some of the same
Oh,
leagues as my ex,
you do.
you
We've
set your
got someone
boundaries.
in the
Okay.
field going
Excuse me.
live. This is
Excuse me.
Shayna.
Let me go
Shayna's
live.
like, yes, I'm here on the pitch.
Be like, Shayna, are you ready for a
Yeah.
go? Ready for a go? I'm here and live. Yes.
Hmm.
Those are the things. And it sounds like you did leave. It's almost like you lost the kickball in the divorce. Like
Yeah.
that's what it
That's what
sounds
it sounds
like.
like. I don't care.
You
You could
lost it.
have the plants. I want kickball. That's
Okay.
all.
You said, well, all right, fine,
All right.
fine.
Yeah, we
So,
love the
no,
plants.
just set your little boundaries and set your boundaries. Like, remember, those are not things that you put on other people. It's what you do
Hmm.
in those spaces. If you need to have a talk with your ex, just be like, hey, gonna rejoin the league. Just want to be cool. Hope you and I are good. Cool. Like, do that. And it doesn't have to be a long, drawn out conversation or whatever else. You can send a quick text. To do that, you can make sure that people don't put you on the same team,
Hmm.
especially if it's one where like folks pick. But
That's
if
a
you,
good
no,
one.
yeah, no,
That's a
like
big tip.
make sure,
Because now
make sure
that
that
would be
happens. Okay.
something.
Make sure y'all don't end up on the same team. But there
Hmm.
are people in leadership positions that can help to mitigate that so that you don't have to deal with that directly. And then go and be in the space. and live your
Mm-hmm.
life. Don't go there to spy on your ex. Don't go there to see what they're doing, who they're
Yep.
talking to, anything like that. You have listed, thankfully, I don't think you will because you listed all things that you want to do about working out and getting back and hanging out with friends and being at the socials. So the fact that you were focusing the onus on you, I think it's good for you to go back
Yeah.
and do that and have a good time. And that's what has to happen. I was like, it can be done. It can be done
Yeah.
and it can be fine. I was like, my ex and I are completely fine. It was rough at the beginning, but of course, that's fresh out of a breakup. It sounds like you all have had time
Mm-hmm.
and you should be able to go and do that. And also, it helps to like allow things to be figured out too. Like you can just feel a lot more at ease. Your anxiety goes down about seeing them and just being like, because I feel like the more space you take away from your ex, it's just this built up moment of what happens if I see them out? What happens
Yeah.
if they're all of a sudden in the club that I'm in and whatever?
Yeah.
That just allows you to slowly just get those feelings and those anxieties out of your system and you can fully
Mm-hmm.
function in all of the spaces without having to worry about an ex spotting.
Yeah. Mm. People really don't be wanting, again, in non like safety and trauma situations,
Yes.
like people not wanting to see their exes is funny. It'd be like, I had to leave Trader Joe's because they were in
Right.
there. So
And you
it's
see
like,
them like ducking and moving, and you're like, what is
yeah,
happening? And
yeah.
instead, it's just like
Yeah,
acknowledge and keep pushing. You don't have
yeah.
to
That's
stop.
it. You don't have to
You don't
talk to
have to
them
stop
at
and
all.
talk. You have to do whatever. It's just like you're in a
Yep.
space, I'm in a space. Guess what? We live together. We live in the same area.
Mm-hmm.
And, queer spaces are small enough as they are. You're going to run into your ex. So
Mm-hmm.
why not take
Mm-hmm.
control of when you do see them?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Why not?
Why not? Hope that helps, Bree. Go get back on,
Get back out there.
get back out there. You know, kick the ball. So kick it,
Good
kick the
job.
ball.
Good job.
Yeah, that's my strategy. Is kick the ball.
Hmm.
All right, well, that's it for this week's Am I Bad Queer? You can always send your questions to badqueers.com, hit us up on IG at badqueerspod, or email us at badqueers@badqueers.com to be featured.
Right? What type of bad queers will we be if we didn't have unpopular queer opinions? My bad queer opinion is just a happy reminder that we are under 20 days until the Cowboy Carter tour.
Hmm.
And before anybody starts talking trash for when the tour goes live, because you know that the haters are going to have a lot of things to say about Beyonce, especially with this album and all the racism and sexism and the other isms that came
Mm-hmm.
about this. I just want a reminder to the queers that we ride for Beyonce. Beyonce has done more for the LGBTQ plus community than a lot of folks, including folks who are a part of our community. So just
Mm.
remember that.
Mm. Name them. No.
Okay, right. I'm like, well, well, okay. Beyonce is a queer's girl, and we want to keep her.
Mm-hmm.
So just keep that energy going. And also, I can't wait to see all the gays and the queers outfits. We are gonna
Mm-hmm.
look
It's
good.
gonna be
I don't know what I'm
nice.
wearing. I
Yep.
don't know what I'm wearing.
Oh, you
I'm
don't have it
stressed.
yet?
If people
Oh
have
man.
ideas, send them to me. I was like,
Yeah.
send them to me because I need the ideas. I am stressed, but
Yeah.
I've been stealing other people's like inspiration boards and putting them on Pinterest. So if y'all have any,
Oh, well,
DM
there we
us.
go.
DM
There
us
we
a
go.
backwards pod
That's so
and
funny.
let me know what you think I should wear. Thank you so much.
It's just this flood of Pinterest
I need help.
boards. Yeah. Like, I think this is yours, Shayna. I'm gonna forward it to you. It's a
Yep.
Pinterest board.
Yes. And I'm seeing her
So,
in Chicago. So the weather could be super hot or very cold. So lean more towards the cold
and you
side
know,
and you never
that's
know.
what as I approach my Chicago trip, I don't know what the fuck. I can now see it 10 or 14 days out, and I was like, I don't know what the fuck to dress for. It kind of feels a little Bay Area-ish, where it's like it seems like it's like 60s and obviously in the 40s in the morning, but I don't know. Y'all could show up and do something crazy. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't
Yep.
know what to do.
It's true.
So we'll see. I'll cross that bridge. I'm just gonna bring a jacket. I'm gonna have jackets, and
Yes.
we'll just go
Yes.
from there. Um, okay, shout out to everybody going on the Cowboy Carter tour. Um, cool. I have a community note. This is following Kiki Palmer scrapping the episode with Jonathan Majors after receiving internet backlash and people pulling up the receipts that she made some very just what girl comments about R. Kelly in the past, like years ago in a Breakfast Club interview. But it's just a community note. We don't have to facilitate someone's redemption. Like we
Mm-hmm.
don't have to do that. It's not our job. Especially as marginalized people, but as queer women to carry the emotional labor of rehabilitating someone who's done harm. Forgiveness and compassion are personal, but platforming is a choice. Like you do
Mm.
not have to have Jonathan
That's
Majors
a
on your show. I don't
bar.
know how much he has paid or whatever because he tried to get his little redemption thing going.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, yeah, I just thought there's a rare misstep by Kiki. Like I was like, who's this for? Like who is this for, Kiki? And Kiki had her own issues with her baby's father and
Mm-hmm.
talks of abuse. So it just was weird. And then the one clip that did come out because it was supposed to come out this week, she scrapped it and went with a cash doll interview instead. But there was this one clip still floating around, and it was like, again, not seeing the full interview, but she seemed like a little nervous and off. It wasn't even the same Kiki, but it was just like weird. Like I just don't understand the decision because like I don't know what she was gonna get out of it,
Mm-hmm.
how that was gonna help her, why she felt the need to help him and everything. I don't know. Again, if it's some behind the scenes Hollywood stuff because they did try and you know do his whole redemption tour thing, but platforming is a choice. You do not have to do any of this. Like you could still forgive him. Kiki could be a compassionate person. She might know him, she might know of him, whatever, that's her business, but platforming. And you just got to be careful because of like, alienating your crowd, for what? Like again, is it for clicks? Is it for engagement? Like Kiki doesn't need any of those things. She could just get on live and, get that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So, just very puzzling, very puzzling. But we don't have to facilitate somebody's redemption, like help them out. Like he got it, he's grown, he did this. Like let him figure it out. That's part of his redemption is him figuring it out. Like you don't gotta, do that to him. So, you know,
Absolutely that.
yeah. Mm. I don't know what that was about. I was like, what a misstep. No
Wow, I
one,
didn't even hear that that
no
had
one.
happened. So that's wild to even. I
Yeah,
would not have put that on my bingo card that she would have
yeah. That
him.
Kiki Palmer would have Jonathan Majors on there. It's
Mm-mm.
just like, and it's not that I think that Jonathan Majors can never act again or do anything again. I just, from the interviews and his little redemption tour that he's done, the clips I've seen, it doesn't seem like, he's really actually done any work or really remorseful for what he's done in the past.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, before his film magazine Dreams came out, Rolling Stone had published this clip of him admitting to admitting to aggressing his former lover who was at the center of his trial and everything. So is like he admitted he did do the shit,
Mm-hmm.
and put hands on her. And yeah, I just don't think Kiki has to be involved with it. Like I already feel a way about like Megan Good with this whole situation. And if they found love, great. They're like married and gonna have a bigger ceremony, he said. But I feel like even with Megan Good, I was like, you're also damned if you do, damned if you don't, because heaven forbid he puts his hands on you. There's
Mm-hmm.
gonna be all those same like mostly men that were like, oh, look at her standing by her man, are gonna be like, what did you think? He was an
Right.
abuser. So it's just like I don't know
Literally that.
what y'all get out of this. So theirs is different because there might obviously be love involved, and he had some backstory about like they had known each other for a while. So that's their business. But like, yeah, Kiki, this is so avoidable. Like, you don't. What are you doing, Kiki? What are
Yep.
you doing? Like,
Mm-hmm.
it's just like, what are you doing, baby? So yeah, I don't want to see that. There's no need anymore in the Lord's year of 2025 for people to be platforming certain people that have, you know, not done any of the work clearly. Like, so hmm, just a community note. I was sad to see that. I was like, oh, Kiki,
Yeah.
she'll be fine. But it was just like, who the fuck put this on there? Like,
Mm-hmm.
whose idea
What
was this?
producer? What
Yeah,
producer?
who did this? Yeah, it's crazy.
Like
Yeah,
they don't have a job anymore. So there's
yeah,
that. All right.
yeah. Hopefully, but
Okay.
yeah.
Well,
Hmm.
let's go ahead and wrap up the show. But we would never leave you without giving shout outs to our faves. My shout out this week goes to Something Casual, a queer day Afro party featuring your favorite queer and trans DJs, hip hop, Afrobeat, Mapiano, and more type music. This is based in LA. You can follow
Oh,
at something casual, period underscore.
love it. My shout out is to Ethiopian Girl Skaters, which is a nonprofit dedicated to empowering girls across Africa to dream big and break barriers through skateboarding. I love skateboarding. Love seeing us skateboard. I'm always a Tony Hawk girly. So follow them on IG at Ethiopian Girl Skaters.
All right. Well, that is the episode for today. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Reminder, fifth anniversary things are happening.
Mm-hmm.
They are happening. You want to participate? Come and check us out in Chicago at our podcast salon with Anna Deshawn. That is
Mm-hmm.
happening Friday, April 25th at 6 p.m. You'll get to see Chris and I live and in person together. So if you're in the
Yeah.
Chicago area, please, please, please get your tickets. Check out our schedule of all the things that are happening. And we will have the link directly in the description, but it will also be on our Instagram and on our website. So
Mm.
come support, show out, see us in person. We're excited to see y'all.
I'm excited. Chicago, I'm very excited. And by the time this episode airs, I would have already lost the 2 hours and 40 minutes of my life I'm not going to get back from watching Wicked this
So excited.
Sunday. I
So excited.
just,
Gonna live your best life. It's gonna be great. Chris is gonna have a great time.
oh,
So excited to recap all of this with you
I'm
all.
probably getting a little sick because of this. And I didn't even think of that until right now.
No, that's why
That's
you're getting sick
actually
now so that you're gonna
probably
be good by
that's
Sunday and it's
actually
gonna be
probably why
great.
my body's starting
It's gonna be
I
great.
need to listen to my body,
It's fine, friend. You know what? We're just gonna go
you
ahead and wrap
know?
up the show. Thank everybody
Maybe can I
so
have I
much.
need to ask
Thank
you,
everybody so
can I have sunglasses though, like at
no,
some point of it? Like I think I should, it's
no,
very long. It's 3 hours basically.
no.
You might
You
as well
don't
round
get
up. I
sunglasses.
feel like I should be able to like at
No,
least 4 moments of being able to like rest my eyes,
no,
for like 5 minutes because this is a
no,
long, like that's 2 hours and 40 minutes.
no. You're gonna be okay. You are a
I don't
strong
know.
individual, and I believe in you. And we're
Mm-mm.
going to be in
I think
this
my body is saying I'm
together,
not.
and all of the people who will have watched it with
I am
us
not
will
strong.
be there to
I'm
support
not a
you.
strong black
So
woman
we're going to
at
go
all.
ahead.
Not me.
I just said you're a strong
I,
being.
I'm
I
not
just
a
said you were
strong
strong.
person. I'm
Yes, you
not a
are.
strong person. I'm not a
Internally,
strong
externally,
individual.
all of the
I'm not
things.
a strong black
It's
woman. I'm
fine.
not any of those
It's
things.
fine.
I'm
For
just
everybody
very,
who's
very
tuning
mid,
in,
a
thank
little
you
mid,
so much for
good
listening. If you're in
sometimes,
Chicago, hope
sometimes
to see you in
not,
person. Otherwise, we
so
will see you
no strength,
next
no
week.
strength. Take
It's
it.
me again. Can we talk about things? I'm sorry that I'm